The most terrifying moment in a narcissist's life isn't when they lose everything, it's when they finally understand why. Picture this, a person who spent decades blaming the entire world for their failures, suddenly waking up to the brutal reality that they are the common denominator in every destroyed relationship, every missed opportunity, every burned bridge. Jordan Peterson revealed the psychological mechanisms behind this devastating awakening. And what he discovered about the process of genuine accountability will shake your beliefs about human nature forever. If you want to understand what's really going on inside a narcissist's mind when the mask falls, subscribe to the channel, like it, and comment below if you already suspected that one day this collapse would happen. The truth about narcissistic accountability is infinitely more complex than anyone realizes. Peterson, during his years of clinical practice and research in depth psychology, discovered that what we call lack of self-awareness in narcissists is not actually a lack of awareness. It's an elaborate system of active denial. They know, on some deep and terrifying level, exactly what they're doing. The difference is that they've built such a sophisticated mental architecture to avoid this awareness that it becomes virtually impenetrable. But can you imagine living with this level of self-deception? According to recent neuropsychological studies, the narcissistic brain constantly works to rewrite reality. Every memory is edited, every interaction is reinterpreted, every consequence is externalized. It's like having an internal editor working 24/7, ensuring that your personal narrative never includes real responsibility, until something happens that makes this editing impossible. What Peterson calls reckoning. The reckoning is not a one-time event. It's a brutal process that can last months or years, where layers and layers of denial are forcibly removed until only the stark truth remains. And that truth is devastating. They are exactly what they've always denied being, and then the first crack in the armor appears. Peterson describes this initial moment as deeply disturbing for the narcissist. Imagine someone who has always managed to manipulate every situation to come out on top, suddenly faced with irrefutable evidence of their own destructive behavior. It could be an adult child who finally cuts off contact permanently. It could be a misjudgment. It could be the loss of a professional reputation. The important thing is not the event itself, but the impossibility of rewriting it. But is this the whole truth about narcissistic accountability? Peterson's research reveals something even more disturbing. Many narcissists experience multiple false reckonings before the real one. They learn to perform accountability as yet another tool of manipulation. They engage in public therapy, make elaborate apologies, and take partial responsibility, all calculated to regain control and admiration. Can you identify the difference between genuine and performative accountability? Peterson establishes specific criteria. Real accountability comes with concrete and sustained behavioral changes. It comes with the acceptance of permanent consequences. It comes with the willingness to repair harm, even when there is no personal benefit involved. And most importantly, it comes with the end of the victimhood narrative. Let us know in the comments if you've ever witnessed someone going through this real accountability process. What makes narcissistic reckoning particularly brutal is that it doesn't just involve accepting individual mistakes. It's confronting an entire lifelong pattern. Peterson explains that when a narcissist finally develops genuine self-awareness, they don't just see the past few years or decades. They see an entire existence built on manipulation, exploitation, and shifting responsibility. It's like watching a movie of your own life, where you're consistently the villain. Jungian psychology, which profoundly influences Peterson's work, suggests that this moment is a form of psychological death. The constructed ego, this grandiose, invulnerable identity, literally cannot survive contact with complete reality. For genuine accountability to occur, this false identity must be completely dismantled. But what happens next will shock you even more. Peterson has documented cases where narcissists, after the initial breakdown, attempt to rebuild the same dynamic in a different guise. They become the recovering narcissists, using their accountability journey as a new source of admiration. It's an even more sophisticated way of avoiding real responsibility, turning even the admission of guilt into a performance. And here's the most terrifying revelation. According to Peterson, true narcissistic accountability may be impossible without consistent and relentless external intervention. They need people who won't accept their performative excuses, who won't be manipulated by the new humble version of their personality, who will stick to firm consequences regardless of tears or promises of change. Can you imagine having to be that person in a narcissist's life? It's an incredibly draining position because they are masters at finding ways to make you feel cruel for maintaining boundaries. Peterson frequently advises family and friends of narcissists that genuine accountability is only possible when they stop enabling irresponsible behavior, even when it means watching the person they love suffer the natural consequences of their choices. But let me tell you something that will completely change your perspective on this process. According to longitudinal studies on personality change, the rare cases of narcissists who achieve genuine accountability share one specific characteristic. They've lost literally everything. Not partially, not temporarily, completely. Family, career, reputation, financial resources, social network. It's as if the universe conspired to remove all the crutches that supported their false identity. Peterson argues that this total loss is not accidental. It is necessary. As long as there is any external source of validation or control, the narcissist will find ways to avoid full responsibility. It's only when they are completely alone with the consequences of their actions that true accountability becomes possible. And then a question arises that few have the courage to explore. Is forcing someone into such total destruction ethical? Peterson, with his deeply humanistic yet pragmatic perspective, suggests that the alternative, allowing them to continue destroying lives around them, is even less ethical. Sometimes the most compassionate act is to allow someone to face the full consequences of their choices. But here's something that will leave you speechless. Peterson revealed that even narcissists who undergo complete reckoning, who develop genuine accountability, who radically change their behavior, even these rarely manage to completely repair the damage they've caused. Some wounds are permanent, some relationships cannot be rebuilt, some consequences are irreversible. This means that true narcissistic accountability comes with a component of grief, genuine mourning for lost opportunities, for destroyed relationships, for time wasted on lies, and this grief can be devastating. Peterson describes cases where narcissists, confronted with the totality of what they lost, developed severe depression that lasted for years. Leave your thoughts below. Is it worth going through this extreme suffering to achieve real accountability? Peterson's answer is unequivocal, yes. Because the alternative, a lifetime built on lies and shifted responsibilities, is a form of living death. It's existing without ever truly living, relating without ever truly connecting, succeeding without ever truly deserving. It's a fundamentally empty existence, even when it outwardly appears grand. But the process of developing genuine self-awareness after decades of denial isn't just painful, it's technically complex. Peterson explains that narcissists must literally relearn how to process feedback, how to interpret others' emotional reactions, how to connect their actions with consequences. It's like rehabilitating someone who has spent decades with a specific type of emotional blindness. And here's something no one tells you about narcissistic accountability. It needs to be practiced daily for the rest of your life. It's not a one-time accomplishment. It's a lifelong commitment to brutal self-honesty, Peterson often cites the example of recovering alcoholics. The difference is that recovering narcissists must constantly monitor not just obvious behaviors, but subtle patterns of thought, interpretation of events, and emotional reactions. What you're about to discover will transform your understanding of human change. Peterson revealed a phenomenon he calls the accountability cascade. Once a narcissist begins to see one area of life with brutal clarity, that honesty tends to spread to other areas. It's as if admitting genuine responsibility in any context breaks a psychological dam, allowing genuine honesty to flow into all aspects of existence. But this cascade can be terrifying for those experiencing it. Imagine discovering that not only did you destroy your marriage through emotional manipulation, but also that your career was built on sabotage from colleagues, that your friendships were based on exploitation, that even your hobbies were performed to impress others. It's recognizing that almost nothing in life was genuine. Peterson also warns us of something disturbing. Our current society makes narcissistic accountability extremely difficult. Social media, celebrity culture, polarized identity politics, all conspire to allow people to avoid real responsibility. It's possible to build entire careers, millions of followers, and significant political influence, all based on blame shifting and performative victimhood. This means we're creating systems that actively impede the kind of reckoning Peterson considers essential for psychological health. We're rewarding the very behaviors that need to be challenged. And this creates a vicious cycle where narcissism is not only tolerated, but celebrated. And here's the final question that will haunt you. If true accountability is so rare and so difficult, what does that mean for our society? Peterson suggests that we are heading toward a point where genuine accountability may become nearly impossible, creating entire generations of people disconnected from the real consequences of their actions. The solution, according to Peterson, begins individually, with each person who refuses to enable irresponsible behavior, who maintains firm boundaries, who demands real accountability rather than accepting superficial performances. It's difficult, often lonely work, but absolutely essential for the functioning of any healthy society. If you've made it this far, you're probably ready to dive even deeper into this exploration of accountability, narcissism, and genuine change. In the next video, we'll explore specifically how Jordan Peterson analyzes what happens when narcissists are forced to confront the harm they've caused, and why some never recover from that confrontation. Subscribe to the channel and hit the bell because this journey is just beginning.